This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Welcome everyone to the Occult Magic Science, where we turn many stories into the same story using wisdom, nature and numerology. This is your host, Griffith Armitage. Before we get started, let me ask something of all the viewers out there. Do any of you truly believe that there is anyone within the general population that knows more about our universe and the world around us than the elite? Because let me tell you one thing, they have access to unlimited funding, technology and documents that we will never ever lay our eyes on. On top of that, they are the ones rewriting history and destroying all evidence. You need to ask yourself, when you're going down all these conspiracy theories or rabbit holes, such as Babylonian sex magic, rituals and all that jazz, and that they are demonic or satanic and being possessed and they will all be going to hell. These people know what's going on. Don't ever assume they don't know what they are doing, because they are in full control and always have been. And in order for humanity to have a fighting chance, you have to get on their level. You have to understand using wisdom. You can't assume, you can't jump into conclusions, you can't call something a ritual without truly knowing what they are actually doing. Throughout the various videos I will be creating, I will show you the secrets of the numerology like you've never seen before. From the number 33, the 7, the 12 and many other numbers, all stemming back from the days of the ancient Aztecs, Sumerians, as well as ancient Egyptians, because their lineage dates back far longer than you can ever imagine. It isn't the Knight Templars or the Druidic Order or the Freemasons. These people hide under those banners, but these people are ancient and their knowledge that stems back from many previous generations. Now let us begin with the Baphomet statue. A lot of people look at this statue and they assume that this is about pedophilia, rituals and Satanism. But truly look at what's right in front of you. It's telling these kids to look up at the stars, and on top of that there's a famous or infamous saying, should I say, of as above so below, and that is the key to unlocking all the knowledge that they've hidden from us. That is how you see through the illusions and the magic of writing, because the magic you've been led to believe isn't any special powers. The magic is in their writing. They write spells to cast illusions, and your lack of wisdom is what will cause you to fall under their illusion. Now with as above so below, we're mainly going to cover as above in this video, the earth above and the wheel above. I'm sure many of you religious people out there have read about the flat earth. It is mentioned in pretty much all of the various religious texts with varying degrees, such as the ends of the earth is surrounded by ice, or the dome, or the firmament. The earth it is talking about in these stories is the flat earth, the Milky Way galaxy. And just like our star system, it also has 12 zodiacs. And when looking at the zodiac, it is pivotal to always have Sagittarius at 12. And from there we go to 1, which is Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. And those are the 12 zodiacs. And this is how it should be mirrored both in the wheel below, our star system, and the wheel above. So always remember Sagittarius when the clock strikes 12. Now I'm going to give you two examples of the Milky Way used in various stories, specifically one mythological story and one ancient religious text. We'll start with Greek mythology, Hesiod's Theogony. But then Gaia, the earth, came into being, her broad bosom, the ever-firm foundation of all. So when you look at a bosom or a female's breast, you will notice that they bear a resemblance. Next, let us take a look at the Bhagavatam, which is an ancient Hindu religion, and this is an excerpt near the beginning. A part of the Purusa lies down within the water of the universe, and from the navel lake of his body sprouts a lotus flower. The key word here is navel lake. If you take a look at your belly button, once again you will realize it bears a striking resemblance to the Milky Way, the navel lake. So how does time work in the Milky Way galaxy when reading these religious texts? The one thing you need to remember, this is very important, is that 1 equals 1000. And here are some examples from various religious texts, starting with Jubilees. For 1000 years are as one day in the testimony of the heavens, and therefore was it written concerning the tree of knowledge. Next we'll go to the Quran. A day with your Lord is as 1000 years of what you reckon. Another excerpt I will take from the Bible. One day is with the Lord as 1000 years, and 1000 years are as one day. What this is telling us is that one zodiac in the wheel above equals to 1000 years. And for our star system to complete a full circuit around the Milky Way, it takes 12,000 years. So just like the wheel below, where we have 12 months for a full circuit around our sun, or should I say 1 year, in the wheel above, it is 12,000 years, or 12 millenniums. And just like we have the 4 seasons below, we have the 4 elements above, which we call the 4 ages. We have water age, which is equivalent to winter. We have earth age, which is equivalent to spring. We have fire age, which is equivalent to summer. And we have wind age, which is equivalent to autumn. 3000 years, 3 months. As above, so below. There is one pivotal difference, however, and that is within the water age and the wheel above. As although it is the water element for 3000 years, what happens is we enter a cloud of dust, a cloud of vapors, which causes everything to freeze over in our planet Earth. This is called the Ice Age. So water age for 1000 years, and then the Ice Age for 2000 years. The 10,000 years of sunlight, the 2000 years of darkness. The reason behind the Ice Age is due to the Grand Nebula, also known as the Carina Nebula. And here is an image by Jofra Boschart. He's drawn an image of the 12 zodiacs, and all of them are packed with ancient celestial knowledge. And when you look at this image, you will see the squiggly line towards the bottom between the 7 flowers, which looks like an Aquarius sign, as Capricorn and Aquarius are both Ice Age, and you have the 7 flowers on top of that. This is the 7 constellations with suns. Although we have many suns within our star system, these 7 constellations are the ones that have a profound effect on our tree of life and the 4 seasons. And although there is 7 constellations, there are 8 suns in total. So let's begin with the one to the left in the green, which is Draco with the sun Thuban. Then we have Ursa Minor with the sun Polaris. Next we have Orion. Now this one has 2 suns, Betelgeuse and Rigel. And in the center, that is our solar system with the white sun, although it is yellow from our perspective. Next we have Dog Star with the sun Sirius, and then we have Canis Minor with the sun Procyon, and lastly in the red we have TRAPPIST-1, the red dwarf sun 7-planet solar system, which NASA tried to pass off as a new discovery. But what happens is this solar system enters our tree of life once every millennium. The 2 solar systems are the cornerstone of our wheel below, our star system. You all know about solar system 1, which contains our yellow sun. which is played by Jesus and many other characters, although I'm going to stick to Jesus until my next video. Now, what about TRAPPIST-1? The 7-planet solar system, the beast with the 7 heads. Satan is released from prison after 1,000 years. TRAPPIST-1 enters our tree of life once every millennium. And once all of these suns enter the Carina Nebula, they have no power over our Earth, and the sky is pitch black. The 10,000 years of sunlight, the 2,000 years of darkness. Now here's a video from YouTube. This was recorded by the Hubble telescope, and I hope it will give you a better idea of how it looks like. However, do take it with a grain of salt, because NASA wants to keep the illusion and world of fantasies going, so the masses don't wake up to what they've been doing to us. Here we go. I should note, however, NASA does secretly tell you the truth, such as they will tell you that the Carina Nebula is 7,500 light years away. What they're saying is the 10,000 years of sunlight. We are approximately 7,500 years away from the Carina Nebula, the next ice age. For those of you unaware, this is a movie called The Never Ending Story from 1984. It was co-written and directed by Wolfgang Petersen, based on the novel by Michael Ende. And within this movie there is a lot of ancient celestial knowledge hidden inside, and here is a few snippets based on the 10,000 years of sunlight, 2,000 years of darkness.
Clever boy.
Tell me, please!
We don't know, but you can ask the Southern Oracle.
How can I get there?
You can't. It's 10,000 miles away.
Necessarily say that?
You know how to get there?
Why, sure. It's right around the corner.
How'd all this happen?
With luck.
You've already brought me the entire 10,000 miles?
No, only 9,891, as the dragon flies.
That was the end of Fantasia. Only a few fragments of this once rich and beautiful world had been left by the nothing.
Now we're going to have a crack at decoding an image by Giotto called The Last Judgment, and this one is referring to the wheel above. Firstly, to the bottom you will see 4 squares. When you see the number 4, you have to think about the 4 elements, or the 4 seasons, I should say the 4 ages. Next, there are 2 sets of 12 around Jesus. The set of 12 sprawled horizontally is the wheel below, the 12 zodiacs, the 12 months, and the one encircling Jesus is the 12 ages, the 12,000 years. So when you see the number 12 in religious texts, you need to think about the 12 zodiacs in the wheel below or the wheel above. And now we're going to take a brief look at the wheel below, although I'm saving that for the next video, as it is a very large topic and too much information to put in a single video. So here is a wheel below, our star system. It's a perfect sphere, and a perfect description to describe it is from an excerpt from the Picatrix. The number of the celestial sphere is 360. It is formed by one curve. There is a point inside of it, and all distances from this point to the circumference are equal. Now we're going to go back in time to the ancient Sumerians, the Lost Book of Enki, as it speaks about the 12 zodiacs above and the 12 zodiacs below. By the circuits of the heavens, from horizon to horizon, he drew images of 12 constellations. In the great band, the way of Anu, one each with the sun's family of 12, he paired. To each one he designated a station. By names they were to be called. Then in the heavens below the way of Anu, whence Nibiru the sun is approaching, a band-like way he designed. The way of Enki he designated, to wit 12 constellations by their shapes he also allotted. So he's talking about the 12 zodiacs above and the 12 zodiacs below. And if you see the image to the right, it is a flat 2D representation of our sphere, and our solar system, or our sun to be specific, is in the middle, and the 12 zodiacs create the curved line, and then we have the 7 constellations with suns marked out also. And to the top left corner, I have given a basic representation of how they've drawn the image and turned it into a 2D. They've cut the circle in half and placed one part of the circle at the bottom and one part at the top. I've placed 4 sets of earth in different colors to represent the 4 ages, and in the Bible this is how it is represented. The age of Capricorn and Aquarius, which is Ice Age, is hell. Next we have Earth Age, started with Pisces, which is when the heavens open. This is paradise. Then we have the Fire Age, which is heaven, and lastly we have Wind Age, which is purgatory. There is also a hidden one which you will find in the Catholic Bible, and that is Limbo, which will describe the age of Sagittarius, the 1000 years of Water Age, and it goes like this. Limbo is the last destination for souls before they go to hell. Now, I know what you're thinking. There is no way that hell is Ice Age. But think about it. We've spoken about the 8 suns and how they are blacked out by the Carina Nebula. So what happens then? The sky is pitch black, and our earth freezes over, and eventually all plant life, animals die out, which means no food, no vegetation, and we as a civilization must move underground to survive, and there is only one thing to eat, which is why it is hell, and I'll get to that later. Time for another movie clip. As I've spoken before about the 8 suns, with Trappist 1 being played by Satan and Jesus playing our yellow sun. Well, here's a skit from Monty Python, The Holy Grail. Check this one out.
They're nervous, sire. Then we best leave them here and carry on foot. Dismount!
Behold the cave of Carbano.
Right. Keep me covered. What with? Just keep me covered.
Too late. What? There he is.
Where?
There.
What, behind the rabbit?
It is the rabbit.
You silly sod!
What?
You got us all worked up!
Well, that's no ordinary rabbit. That's the most foul, cruel, and bad-tempered rodent you ever set eyes on.
You tit! I saw my arm and I was so scared.
Look, that rabbit's got a vicious streak a mile wide. It's a killer.
Get stuff.
He'll do you a treat, mate.
Oh, yeah? Manky Scots git.
I'm warning you.
What's he do? Nibble your bum?
He's got huge, sharp... he can leap about... Look at the bones!
Go on, boys, chop his head off.
Right, silly little bleeder. One rabbit stew coming right up.
Look! Jesus Christ! I warned you.
I've done it again.
I warned you, but did you listen to me? Oh, no, you knew it all, didn't you? Oh, it's just a harmless little bunny, isn't it? Well, it's always the same. I always tell them,
shut up!
do they listen to me?
Right.
Oh, no.
As you saw from the clip, the 8 suns have no power once they enter the rabbit hole. And here's another excerpt from the Lost Book of Enki, the same story with different wording. In their holy cities the gods stood disbelieving as the evil wind towards Shuma made its way. One after another the gods fled their cities, their temples abandoned to the wind. In my city Eridu, as a poison cloud approached, I could do nothing to stop it. Escape to the open steppe to the people I gave instructions. Another symbol that plays a prominent role in the occult is the Ouroboros, the snake that eats itself. Time to zoom in and complete the last part of this image decoding. This one will be about Ouroboros. Now, as you can see, there are 3 panels in the center. What this signifies is the 3 major cycles of destruction and creation. And on to its 2 sides, you will see 2 figures peeling away the background. One door opens and one door closes, another one opens, or in other words, the end is also the beginning. The 3 cycles of destruction and creation are the Ice Age cycle, which is the end of a generation. Then we have the Millennium cycle, which is the end of the old world and the beginning of the new world. And lastly, we have the Galaxy Collision, which is the end of the 7 generations, and everything starts from brand new again, and the timeline starts back at 0.
I had to.
I know. The bullet is still inside. Trinity, don't you quit on me now. Trinity. Trinity, I know you can hear me. I'm not letting go. I can't. I love you too damn much.
The perfect place to find a story regarding the 7 generations is the Holy Bible, and I've covered it word for word within my book Fugazi, but here is an abbreviated version. And the evening and the morning were the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and God rested on the 7th day, and these are the generations. So once you remember that there are 2,000 years of darkness and 10,000 years of sunlight, you understand why God's days are in reverse. And then the evening and the morning, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So if you look to the right, you will see this is an image of a 2D image of our star system, the sphere, and on the top is how our star system would look within the Carina Nebula, and then the bottom one is day, the sun comes out. So it's the same concept as our planet Earth. There's clouds in the skies and you can't see our sun, and once we exit the Carina Nebula, the sun is out again. Now that you understand the meaning behind Ouroboros, you can make sense of a quote from a famous inventor from our past. His name was Nikola Tesla, and he was an engineer that was said to create free energy and many other things that would benefit humanity. But unfortunately, preceding his death, all of his plans, inventions were confiscated. So no one really knows what he achieved, and what he could have done for humanity. A particular quote from him caught my interest as I was studying and learning about the cycles and ancient Aztec knowledge from another person that teaches is called Emilio de Jesus. This was one of the first things I discovered because I remembered this quote. I could see the past, present, and future all at the same time. So, as our star system travels around the Milky Way galaxy for a full circuit, that's 12,000 years. And that is the end of one generation. So, 7 generations, each generation has 12,000 years. So, second generation is 12,000 to 24. Next is 24 to 36. Then we have 36 to 48, and so on. And the last generation is after 72,000 to 84,000 years. And once that ends, we go into a galaxy collision and the timeline resets back to 0. The end is also the beginning. Once you understand this timeline, his quote becomes clear as day. I could see the past, present, and future all at the same time. So if you were to skip forward 84,000 years, or go back in time exactly 84,000 years, you'd be in the present time but in the past or the future. So what other things can you apply this knowledge to? Well, let's go back to the ancient Aztecs, specifically the Tzolk'in calendar. The Bactan cycle, the elite try to pass it off as 144,000 days, but that's the lie to keep the masses from understanding the truth. 12,000 years times 12 months equals 144,000 months. So the 144,000 Bactan cycle is really 144,000 months. And once again, we're going to take it back to the Holy Bible. This is a story regarding the 12 tribes of Israel. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and they were sealed, and 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So the 144,000 children of Israel is 144,000 months, and the 12 tribes of Israel is each age of the zodiac. So we have 12,000 months, which equals 1,000 years, which is the same number that was sealed on each of the 12 tribes. Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000, aka 1,000 years, and so on. Now let's take on the Rig Veda's timeline, which is from ancient Hindu texts. Specifically, this one is the Yuga cycle. And once again, you got to use 144,000 months, which is 12,000 years. It states that there are 12 principles, and each of the 4 yugas, which are the 4 ages, Ice Age or Water Age, Earth Age, Fire and Wind Age, and each of these ages is worth a different fraction of the full principle of 12. So the Kali Yuga is 1/4, Davpara or Vapara, or however, fucking no clue how you pronounce that shit, is 2/4. Then we have Tetra, which is 3/4, and then we have the Satya, which is a full 12 principle, so 4 out of 4. Now we go back to the Kali Yuga, which is a 1/4, and it states that it is 432,000. They state that 432,000 is in years, but that's a load of bullshit. It's actually months. And once you divide it by the principle, so 144,000, it equals 3, and then it does state, as I mentioned previously, 1,000 Maha Yugas are as 1 day. So 3 times 1,000 equals 3,000 years. And you just repeat the same thing to get all of the next cycles. I've decoded it in full in my book, and I prefer to keep it short and brief.
Who is it?
It's Troy.
Yeah. I have work tomorrow.
Come on. It'll be fun. I promise.
Yeah. Sure. I'll go.
Alice in Wonderland. Another story regarding follow the white rabbit into the rabbit hole. And if you look at the artifact to the right, it's an ancient Aztec artifact where you have a little rabbit in a rabbit hole. When you look at the various posters and images from Alice in Wonderland, you will see the different times in which he is pointing at the clock. And you need to look at the clock face of the wheel above, the Milky Way galaxy. So the main image to your left, it's about to hit 3 o'clock. So that's the age of Pisces, the end of the Ice Age, where the heavens open. And below that, the little cartoon, you see the last 12,000 years of sunlight. So it's about 11:25, and just like the Monty Python and the Holy Grail clip, the rabbit hole is referring to the 2,000 years of darkness. And that is also the key to figuring out how the elite came to own everything. Before we go into that, we'll quickly cover one of my favorite movies, 12 Monkeys. If you look at the two movie posters, you have the monkey pointing at 2 o'clock, the age of Aquarius, Ice Age. Call begins in the year 2032, which would be just at the end of the Ice Age, which is why he can come out from underground, and also the reason why the sky isn't pitch black. Cole, the protagonist, also travels to 1990, and if you look at the monkey's image on the right, he's pointing at 3 o'clock. So 1990 would be right at the end before it hits 4 o'clock, which is the end of the age of Pisces. One of the main slogans when promoting this movie is a real kicker, which is a little secret hidden knowledge, and that quote is, "The future is history." So although we are led to believe that Cole is traveling back in time, what he's actually done is he's traveling to the future, because history repeats itself, as in the cycles do. And the great mystery which is asked throughout the movie is finally solved. Who is the army of the 12 monkeys? There's 12 monkeys over here, there's 12 monkeys over there. The 12 zodiacs above and the 12 zodiacs below. As above, so below. If you have been following thus far and have a basic understanding of everything I'm trying to teach you, now is the time I'm going to show you the difference between understanding and believing, because nowhere in any of these religious texts does it ask the reader of those who has imagination. It asks the reader of those who has wisdom. Many of these books were most likely written by the elite, and they are laughing at you because they are writing stories based on the truth, and you are falling under their illusion. It's time for you to understand and stop believing in your delusional gods. So let's get on with it. Pilate condemns Jesus at about the 6th hour or 6 a.m. Roman timing. Jesus is crucified 3 hours later at the 3rd hour or 9 a.m. Jewish timing. Darkness starts at the 6th hour or 12 p.m. while Jesus is hanging on the cross. And what's the darkness starts? Sagittarius, the 2,000 years of darkness. And lastly, we have Jesus gave up the ghost at the 9th hour or 3 p.m. And although the definition online of gave up the ghost means different, use logic and understand what gave up the ghost in this particular story means. No one can see you if you are a ghost. He gave up the ghost at 3 p.m. age of Pisces, meaning the yellow sun, aka Jesus, is visible once again once he exits the Carina Nebula. Same story, different coat of paint. Inca versus the Bible. In the beginning, Pachacamac, the sun, rose slowly from Lake Titicaca, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," which is the age of Pisces. And God saw that the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. Pachacamac was so bright that nothing else could be seen in the sky but him. But the night sky was empty, so he made the stars, the planets, and the moon. Here is Mother Mary. She plays the role of winter in the Holy Bible, and I'm going to read a passage from there. "Behold, the angel of the Lord has appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Ghost." So once again, they use the word ghost. So during the 2,000 years of darkness, it is always winter, which is why they call her the Virgin. She gives birth to Jesus without the help of any other seasons. And another story, which is very similar to the Mary story in the Holy Bible, is within the 7 generations, where it states, "And God separated the waters from the waters," because it is always winter during the 2,000 years of darkness, and once we pass the 2,000 years of darkness, the earth below once again has the 4 seasons. And another one. "And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the water brought forth abundantly, after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good." The 2 key words here you need to take account for is winged fowl and great whales. What do whales do? They swim. And fowls, they fly. So when the planets, the people that are in the image of God, goes into the face of waters, they are swimming. And once they exit the water element, the planets are flying. But wait, there's more. So from the Babyloniaca of Berosus, Cronus appeared to Zephyroth in a dream, revealing to him that mankind would be destroyed by a flood. On the 3rd day the flood had come and swiftly receded. Next, let's go to the book of Jubilees. "And on the 3rd day he commanded the waters to pass from off the face of the whole earth into one place, and the dry land to appear." Manetho, an Egyptian priest, wrote, "The divine reigns began 10,000 years before the flood and 10,000 years thereafter." The Holy Bible patriarchs before the flood, from Adam to Noah, were 10, and the patriarchs after the flood, from Shem to Abraham, were 10 as well. The well, the baptism of water, the 2,000 years of darkness, Noah's Ark. Same story, different coat of paint. Nikola Tesla, the power of 3, 6, 9. 3, Earth Age. 6, Fire Age. 9, Wind Age. The sun has no power during the darkness. In Greek mythology, Uranus plays the 2,000 years of darkness, and starry heaven plays the role of the 10,000 years of light. And in the story it tells you that Uranus keeps his children locked up in Tartarus. In other words, all the suns are blocked out by the Carina Nebula, the darkness. Tartarus is equivalent to hell, or the SHEOL, or the well, or the baptism.
Fool me once, fool me once, fool me once. Shame on, shame on. Shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. Fool me, can't get fooled again, can't get fooled again, can't get fooled again, can't get fooled again, can't get fooled again,
And if you're aware of Doomsday, when the clock strikes 12, he's talking about the wheel above. And when you look at the video, you'll see the tower and the clock is pointing at 12 o'clock. Sagittarius, the great deluge. The end is also the beginning. Once our yellow sun exits the Carina Nebula, the stars and the sky is visible again, and we have the day and night cycles. The heavens open. The final part of my video will be regarding how the elite came to own everything. During the Ice Age I mentioned earlier, no food, no vegetation, no animals. We as a civilization must move underground, and the only thing to eat is each other. It's just like how we keep animals, we are the apex predator and we keep animals for food. They kept us as cattle. And if you look at all the underground cities such as the catacombs of Paris, and you see all the remains of human skulls, you understand. They used the knowledge of the ancient celestial knowledge to their advantage, and once they released the few remaining survivors within the general population they kept underground, they most likely brainwashed them, or I don't know what they did, but either way, they're able to rewrite history, change our languages, and create all new religions to brainwash one generation after another. They've been doing this for thousands of years. And surprise, surprise, most of these underground cities, you can only access a few levels because they don't want you to see what's down there, because they might have ancient technology far beyond what we are capable of, and all other kinds of things. Logan's Run is also an Ice Age story. However, I don't think the elite brainwashed them the way in this movie, but either way, it has all the knowledge in there for those who want to know about the Ice Age. As the saying goes, you will burn in hell for all eternity. In other words, these people in hell are being cooked alive. And 2,000 years of Ice Age, hell will feel like an eternity. You must study the images made by the artists that know about hell, and or work for the elite in regards to religion or movies, and the ones that do, when you see the images you will know. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, the sad thing is, instead of teaching humanity the knowledge so we can all work together towards a solution, they would rather keep this knowledge to themselves so they are able to stay in power, as there are 3 cycles of destruction and creation that they're abusing to stay in power. Anyways, for now, enjoy the last part of the video.
What is it?
I don't know. Whatever it is, it's war.
We must be outside.
You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The Matrix.
Do you want to know what it is? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. Follow me.
How did they get there?
Regular storage procedure. The same as the other food. The other food stopped coming, and they started.
What other food?
Fish, and plankton and sea greens and protein from the sea. It's all here, ready, fresh as harvest day. Fish and plankton, sea greens and protein from the sea. And then it stopped coming, and they came instead. So I store them here. I'm ready, and you're ready.
In my next video of the occult magic science, I will cover the 33 powers, the wheel below, climate change, Adam and Eve, and the Jurassic era. Until then folks, remember, the future is history.